In this video, we're looking at my 7 favorite Wonder Kids to sign in Football Manager 2024. And for these Wonder Kids, we're looking at players who might be a little bit more affordable. So we're looking at players who are going to be less than 15 million pounds to sign. And we're looking at players who might not be as well known to the FM community. So we're staying away from the Valentin Barcos, the Rooney Bargis, the Claudio Echeverris, and we're looking at players who might not be as well known, but who I think provide great value and who will turn out to be fantastic players in FM24. So with that in mind, let's look at Wonder Kid number 7. And my 7th favorite Wonder Kid to sign in FM24 is 19-year-old Spaniard Hugo Saio. And he already has experience playing at the highest level. He's already played 3 matches in the Spanish First Division. But what really stands out about Sotelo is he's an extremely well-rounded central midfielder. So as we can see, he has no real weaknesses, which means you can slot him into a number of different roles, and you can kind of choose how you want to develop him. But he has the makings of a great Spaniard because he has those things that we kind of expect from a good Spanish technical player. He's got 15 passing, 15 technique, decent first touch, and good vision. So you can slot him into the center of midfield, and if you're playing a possession-based style, you can be really comfortable having him in there, knowing he's going to make good decisions and good passes on the ball. But where I think he really shines is in a deep lying playmaker on defend or support role. Because he has, again, he's got that good passing, that good technique, that good vision, but he also has really good tackling, good off the ball, and good positioning. So if you want him to hold position, he's going to be positioned himself well to prevent counterattacks from happening. But he also has good enough off the ball as a deep lying playmaker to be able to find the right positions to get himself the ball and get himself using that good passing, good technique, so on and so forth. Now, where Sotelo does lack a little bit is in his physicals. Again, very well-rounded physically. He's got no outstanding physical attributes, but he's got no particular weaknesses either. I think if you can train his pace, maybe that agility and acceleration a little bit, he'll turn out to be a wonderfully well-rounded player. But in my personal opinion, the best part about Sotelo is you can sign him cheap. He has a minimum fee release clause of 8.5 million pounds. That's it. He is available for a very cheap price. At just 8.5 million pounds, you are going to get a player who can be in your team for the next 10 years. And certainly 3-4 years down the line, once he's developed even a little bit more, he is going to be worth way more than that. So Sotelo is absolutely a bargain buy in FM24. Now, we are going to look at his current ability and potential ability. So if you don't want that spoiled for you, skip ahead 30 seconds. But looking at his current ability and potential ability, he's already 120. He's a Sky Bet Championship lower EPL level player. And in this version of the game, he's going to 148. That could be a little bit higher or lower in your game. But this is a player who's going to develop into a very solid mid-table English Premier League player, maybe even above mid-table EPL player. And he's well-rounded, he's cheap, he's only going to get better. My number 7 player is Hugo Saio. Moving into our number 6 player is Luca Neu, the 15-year-old goalkeeper who plays at FC Utrecht. And I just had to include a goalkeeper in this. And at just 15 years old, he is already a very good goalkeeper. But we can already see the potential makings of a really good goalkeeper here because we're already seeing these yellow attributes in key places. Command of area, 13. We can already see someone who, when this aerial reach and this jumping reach develops too, this is going to be a player who can command his box very well. He's going to be there to get the crosses and really help to get your team out of bad situations. But we're already seeing good one-on-ones, good handling. If you're looking for a sweeper keeper, someone who can start counterattacks, he's already got good passing, and those reflexes are coming through as well. At 15 years old, you got to remember, we're looking at a 15-year-old player here. He is going to be an excellent goalkeeper. and he's got potential. Football Manager is already showing us that he has potential by labeling him a promising goalkeeper. Promising in the media description is going to indicate at least some level of good potential. And given that we're already seeing pretty good attributes coming through, this is a player who's going to be very good, and he's not too expensive. Looking at that value, 5 million to 15 million, you can sign him for a little bit less than that, depending on if you want to add on some future clauses. This is a really good player who, if you can get him while he's young, he will develop 5 years down the line. He'll be your goalkeeper for the future. Looking at again his current ability and potential ability. Current ability is 87. That's really good for a 15-year-old. We're talking Vanarama National League level. And potential ability is 157. If he reaches his potential, which he's young and he's probably going to get there if you train him properly and give him the right playing time later on in his career, this is a player who can be starting for a Champions League level side. Luca Neu is an absolute bargain buy. At just 15 years old, he's only going to get better. Now let's move into our number 5, my favorite Wonder Kids to sign in FM24. We got Jano Monserate, who's playing for Zaragoza, 17-year-old Spaniard who can play in center mid, but also in an attacking center mid role. We are looking at a really good young player here. Excellent technical attributes, as we can see here coming through, but I really like that nice flair on him. This makes him a really exciting player, someone who can do unpredictable things. He's lacking a little bit physically, but this is something that will come through over time. He will get quicker, he will get more agile, and he will have higher acceleration. So this is a player who's pretty well-rounded and who will come through quite nicely in your team. But the reason why I really like Jano Monserate, minimum fee release clause is £900,000. He is insanely cheap. This is a player, like, even if he never develops, you only put in £900,000 for him, but he is going to develop. I'm going to look at that current ability again. So if we look at that current ability and potential ability, a little bit low on the current ability side, we can see that in his attributes, but his potential ability is 160. This is a player who can start, if he reaches his potential, start for a Champions League level side. And he has a lot of room to grow. We can see that he has a lot of room to grow. So if you sign him for £900,000, let him develop for 3 to 4 years, even if he never reaches his potential ability, then you're going to be able to sell him for 10, 15, 20 million pounds down the line. And if he does reach his potential ability, you have a player who can be a mainstay in a Champions League level club. Monserate is a wonderfully cheap player who I absolutely recommend signing in all FM24 saves. But now we're into Wonder Kid number 4. We're getting into some really exciting players here. This is a player who I've signed in my Southampton save. I was able to sign him for about £12.5 million early on. We're looking at Rigg, who's playing for Sunderland, currently in the under-18 squad there in the Sky Bet Championship. But he is a young 16 years old. He has just turned 16 in game. So this means he has even more room to grow than you think. And this is a central midfielder who is going to be phenomenal in the future. At just 16 years old, we are looking at another player with very well-rounded attributes. His determination is a little bit low, so you will need to praise and criticize his training to help get that determination up. And if you have a really determined squad, that's going to help him out a lot. Not that that's going to affect his development a whole lot, but it is something to look out for. Otherwise, we are looking at a player who's got the makings of an excellent player. Good passing, good tackling, again, makes him a really good deep lying playmaker in my opinion. And he's also got things like high anticipation, decent off the ball, and decent pace. All of this is going to come through and make for a really solid player. Again, looking at that current ability and potential ability, his current ability at just 16 years old is already 93. We're looking at a League 2, League 1 level player, and he is going to a potential ability of 164. Again, another player who can be playing in European continental competition comfortably. And at just 16 years old, if you are playing in England and you're looking at the homegrown roles, Rigg is a fantastic player to sign early on. You can develop him. He'll be homegrown at your club, and he will be a mainstay in your side for years to come. Now let's move into my number three favorite player to sign in FM24. And this player is an absolute lock to be a great player in the future. Sverre Nijpen, who's the 16-year-old Norwegian playing for Rosenborg. He can play central mid, but also all across the attacking midfield roles. And the thing that I like most about him, let's look at that personality. Fairly professional. He is going to develop and reach his potential ability for you. And at just 16 years old, he's already fairly professional. Professionalism increases over the course of their career, so he's only going to get better. So if you're playing a really long-term save, get Nijpen in early and then make sure he's with you when he's older, because at that point, he'll probably be a model professional. You can use him to mentor your young players in the future. But that's way down the line. Let's talk about what he looks like right now. And what he looks like right now is a really solid advanced playmaker or Metsala. We're already seeing the likings of a good advanced playmaker or Metsala here. Good dribbling, good crossing, good first touch, good passing, good technique, good off the ball, solid flair, and decent physical attributes coming through. But Chop said he's also either footed, so you can put him kind of on either side of your midfield as a Metsala or advanced playmaker and know that he will do very well there comfortably. But most importantly, look at that value. He's dirt cheap for a player that we are looking at now and thinking, yeah, this is a really good 16-year-old, but he's only going to get better. And if you want proof of this, let's look at the current ability and potential ability. He's 115 already. That is insanely good for a 16-year-old. He could be playing in the Sky Bet Championship, and that potential ability is 163. He's absolutely going to reach that potential. He is going to be a Champions League level player for years to come. This is a phenomenal player. I would absolutely sign him in all FM24 saves. Now let's move into Wonder Kid number two, and now we are looking at players who can be potential world beaters who you can sign for not that much money. I was able to get a bid of around 14.5 million accepted for him in my Southampton save. We are looking at Luis Guilherme, the 17-year-old Brazilian who I really liked in FM23, and I like him just as much in FM24. And the reason for that, at 17 years old, he has outrageous physical attributes. We're looking at 15 pace, 18 agility, 15 acceleration. As he continues to improve, this pace could be like 17 or 18. Agility is going to be 20. Acceleration is going to be 17 or 18. This is an absolutely phenomenal player. If I'm looking at his attributes, I'm playing him as an inside forward or winger on the right-hand side, maybe an inverted winger so he can cut in on his left foot and use those preferred player traits. But he also has really nice technical attributes. So those physical attributes will continue to come through. Those technical attributes will come through next. Really solid dribbling. We're seeing the makings of an okay holy trinity here. So he could play as an inside forward, but I really like that passing and technique. This is a technically adept player with some really solid physical attributes. Now, where Luis Guilherme lacks is in those mental attributes, and this will come through last. So be patient with Luis Guilherme. Let him come through. Let him continue to develop. Be patient with him. But as all of these attributes can continue to come through, he is going to be an absolute world beater. Take advantage of those physical attributes. Maybe as he gets older, look at a player trait such as knocks ball past opponent, because again, we are looking at a really good physically demanding player here. Let's look at that current ability and potential ability because he can be a world beater. Already 108 current ability, but he is going to 173. 173 is an absolutely phenomenal potential ability. I think he can definitely get here. This is a player who can be starting in the Brazilian national team 5-10 years down the line and you're saved. And looking at him, he's already phenomenal. Luis Guilherme is a wonderful signing. I would definitely be looking at him. 14 million, I think that's a steal for a player who's going to be worth 100 million pounds potentially down the line. And now, my number one favorite player to sign in FM24, Estavo, on the same team as Luis Guilherme and actually Endrick as well. He is a 16-year-old Brazilian who I would actually be looking to play as a center forward because we are looking at the makings of an amazing center forward. He's pretty cheap in my game. 1 year down the line, I was able to sign him for about £12.5 million. But look at that dribbling, finishing, and first touch. We are seeing the makings of a fantastic holy trinity for, again, a young 16-year-old. But it's not just the dribbling, finishing, and first touch. We're looking at good passing, good technique, great flair, good vision, and excellent physicals. All of these things are going to come through. We are looking at the makings of a brilliant center forward. Imagine a front three with Estavo, Luis Guilherme, and Endrick. The Brazilian front line is set for years to come. Again, we're seeing the physicals come through, we're seeing the technicals come through, and already pretty good mentals. But let's look at what we're seeing as far as current and potential ability is concerned. We're looking at a Vanarama National League player now. He's only 16 years old. Potential ability in the game, 186. This means he has really high potential ability. His potential ability range is up there, so no matter what in your save, it's going to be pretty good. Probably between like 150 and 190. But again, or maybe 160 and 190. But this is a fantastic player. I would be signing him in every single version of the game. Estavo is my favorite player to sign in Football Manager 2024. Well, that's it. Those are my 7 favorite Wonder Kids to sign in FM24 who might not be as well known, but I think they are relatively affordable signings and all players who are going to be absolutely fantastic in the game. If I was going to sign one player, I mean, obviously Estavo and Luis Guilherme, but I think Halseth Naipen is really the most underrated wonder kid in game. We're looking at a fairly professional personality for a player who's already pretty good, and he's definitely going to reach that potential. Well, with that in mind, again, those are my 7 favorite players. Let me know if you signed any of them or if you have already signed them and how they're doing for you. But otherwise, I hope you all are having a wonderful day and enjoying your week, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.